Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today with episode 238 of the H.A.M Radio Podcast.
And it is me, Karak, with ACG.
We did it. We got through the intro without any snags. No dogs.
It's true.
No Jolly Rancher choking. We're good, man.
Nope. I specifically ate that prior to us starting the podcast.
All right.
Somebody said my tongue looked blue in the last podcast. They're like, dude, your tongue looks so fucking blue. I'm like, it was.
Remember the days when we were really young and that was like cool? You know, you'd get a Jolly Rancher at school and you'd stick out your tongue and be like, ugh! And yeah, now people are grilling us on the internet for it.
Yeah,
they don't understand. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the H.A.M Radio Podcast, a weekly gaming show where we just round up all the news, we kick back, we chat. This is our time to decompress, so we thank you for joining us. As this show is oh so special to us, it seems you've been enjoying it as well. Our listener numbers have gone up. And so we appreciate that level of support. A lot of people really enjoyed our super long podcast. I guess that's what people are attracted to for us because that was like
crazy.
Our best performing show in a while. And I was really happy to see that. So we thank you so much for being invested in our shows no matter the length. But we hear you loud and clear that you may want longer shows. So we can't guarantee any time we'll get in your 3 hours, but if you guys are interested in supporting the show, getting your hands on some early access, then I would recommend heading over to my Patreon. $1 gets you early access to the show, and $3 will have you joining the Discord where you can get involved in the conversation with other people who are listening to the show and love games, and you can submit your questions as well, which we cover throughout the course of this show. Right now we have a really good system where people are just kind of throwing them in there over time if they think of anything. Sometimes it doesn't even pertain to the news, which is why we sometimes slot it at the end of the show. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us once more. Karak, you got anything going on your Patreon that you want to make people aware of?
No, I think this weekend we might do a B-movie night, but that's about it. I mean, there's a review going up next week, but nothing within the Patreon itself other than good discussion and probably really stupid one-liners. Other than that, really dumb.
Hey, that's what Patreon's all about, or Patreon. That's what Discord's all about.
Yeah, it can get pretty stupid. I love. I love because there's just no worry. It's not like Twitter where you put it up and people see it, and 6 years later somebody is mad at you.
You've seen the screenshots people have like taken out of context of shit I've said. Yeah,
Dragon anal.
Yep, Dragon Anal. Yeah. There you go. Dragon Anal, and let me know if you want to Smash, because I was talking about Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Unreal. Anyway, one of our new parts of our introduction is talking about what we're playing. We just like to catch you guys up on what games we've been messing around with. Karak, it sounds like you're in the middle of a review. I don't know if you can state what game, but is there anything else you're playing on the outside? And I know you did a review for Journey to the Savage Planet this week as well, so if you want to talk about that, go for it.
Yeah, Zombie War 4, the games that are like based on the Sniper Elite games, but then they're turned into a zombie game. Yeah. So I'm reviewing that. And then Journey to the Savage Planet. It was cool, man. It was just a short, wasn't super long, about 8-10 hours. Co-op, really beautiful, really fun, hilarious. Some of the best comedy writing I've ever seen in a game. Like,
nice. Yeah,
legitimately the laugh out loud funny shit I've seen in a long time. Sort of like Subnautica a little bit. I've seen people say it was like Subnautica in space. I could see that, but it was basically you're in a spaceship, it lands, and you are simply trying to get home. That's how it sort of starts, and then it sort of branches out from there, and it's platforming. It's first person platforming, which is pretty rare that's handled well, but it was handled really well here. There was some times where I did a jump and you're like, fuck, I think I made that, but you can't really see your feet, that kind of shit, because you're in first person. But yeah, and beautiful, dude. Like, and they had all the enemies are the kind of enemies you would see on like creepy Saturday morning cartoons. So they look sweet, but they're not. So like you'd see this fucking character look like an owl swallowed a cannonball, and it'd come up to you and you'd think everything was fine and you'd shoot it, and then its huge eyes would get scrunched down like it was mad, and it would charge at you and explode into a nuclear bomb. Like it was, and or you shoot these one characters, and each time you hit this bird, he splits into two more birds that scream like children. So you're in the middle of a battle and you'll bang, and it'll be like, ah, and the kids run off, and you're like, what? That is haunting. Like it was, but it's all on this. It's all in this weird, cute but still creepy alien world way, and it works. But that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, funny story about that. I was watching JV 2017's review that he posted for it because I like his stuff, and I left a comment on his video just saying like, "Hey man, great job on the review. You helped put this game on my radar." And funny enough, 505 Games, the people who I guess helped publish it or handled review codes, reached out to me and they're just like, "Hey man, we saw your comment on JV's video. You want a code?" So I actually have the code for the game. I'm probably gonna play it over the weekend. But
Cool.
I thought that was hilarious because I've never had that happen before.
Yeah,
like,
that's
you just
weird.
leave a comment. I was like, "Hey," I told them props. I said, "Hey, I just want to send some extra appreciation for actually investing your time in the comments of the people you're giving codes for and seeing what people actually think." I thought that was cool. So I wanted to give them a little nod. Are you playing anything else outside of
The
that
zombie
title?
game, and no, the Disintegration
The beta.
beta, and I might try that out. But that's about it right now.
Yeah, I'm tempted to, but I don't think I'll have time to before my trip, so I'm probably not gonna get around to it. I'm not super interested in it anyway. I think it looks cool, but it's not like I need to download that now and play right away type of attention grabbing. So that's where I stand. What I've been playing, because I just finished Kakarot this last week. I got the Platinum Trophy for it. It took me pretty much $50 hours on the nose. So I completed that and didn't really feel like I wanted to spend more time in the world. There was end game stuff in the terms of like enemies spawning at a much higher level, but I got 100% completion in the game. You know, I collected everything, built everything, upgraded everything, filled out the trees. You know, I did everything I had to. It was an enjoyable time. I still really like it. It's one of the few games that my first 5-hour impression video really represents exactly how I felt by the time the game was over. It was a game that revealed its hand really quick, so you were able to get a pretty good judge on what it was going to be going forth with it. Damco just has this habit of having really good presentation in their games, and you can sort of see through that good presentation and realize like some of the content's a little thin, and that's sort of what Dragon Ball is. You know, you either are going to get a game from them that's like Fighters, where it's just a great video game and true fan service, or you're going to get something like Kakarot, which has, you know, some chops here and there. It's nice around the certain parts, but it's also rough around the edges as well. So I enjoyed my time with it. Don't regret picking it up. Don't regret spending that time with it. But I am a huge Dragon Ball fan, so that should be known. What I've moved on to, because outside of that code I got for Journey to the Savage Planet, which is, you know, a pretty short game, it doesn't really overstay its welcome. I've found myself just kind of going back to older games while I have the time to. I've had some more nostalgia-based projects in mind for a while that I've been wanting to chase, such as a KOTOR 2020 review for the first one and the second one. Now with the recent remake news, I feel the time's right for that, so I'm probably going to get to that during the month of February. I recently ordered a PSP for a side project I'm doing for someone else. I'm going to be doing some stuff with the Vita, and I've also been playing my Game Boy a lot for maybe a future project, but also just because I got Golden Sun and Golden Sun The Lost Age on it. These are two RPGs that a lot of people talk very highly of, and I gotta say, really, really holds up well. You know, I don't have any nostalgia blinders. I've never played it before. I was expecting some age, and I guess the only thing so far I could say that hasn't aged well is the going back and forth through the world map. Sometimes I feel like that could be sped up. But, I mean, in the terms of design, freedom, the combat system, how much thought and layers there are to it, really super impressive game. And I'm 9 hours in right now. Wouldn't mind seeing a re-release or a remake of this game series. I know it got 1 and 2 on the Game Boy Advance, and then like 8 years later, they released the third entry on the DS, and it sort of disappeared from there. I don't know if it just didn't perform well, but it's a great series of games. Have you played them?
I haven't. No,
Oh,
not at all.
okay. Really, really good. I gotta say though, I have it right here. The Game Boy, man, like my phone is wider than this thing. So there's sometimes I'll be sitting there going through like text, and I'll be holding it like my phone, like this, and just kind of clicking through. And it was interesting to play it like that. It shows how technology's evolved in the way, even how we hold things. I know that sounds a little strange, but it's kind of weird. It worked really well though. Feels good, fun to play. Really suggest it. Outside of that, yeah, I'm just going to be cranking away on some older games because February, is pretty much empty. I want to correct one thing I was pretty wrong about. I was saying how Ori was coming out in February.
Yeah,
I went to their
that's what I
official
thought.
site.
No?
Yeah, it's not. It's coming out in March.
Oh,
And yeah, because when you look up Ori and the Will of the Wisps release date on Google, it says on the right side, February 2020. And even when you go to their official site, you can't find a release date until you go to a trailer, and it got pushed back to, I think, March 11th. And I was like, okay, small delay, whatever, that's fine. But it was really like tucked away, which is weird for a delay. Maybe it wasn't even delayed. Maybe just the initial month that was listed was incorrect. But like I went on, I think it was, Game Informer's release schedule list, which they usually have updated pretty often. I use that often to schedule my playtime for reviews and when I should send emails and that type of stuff. And yeah, they had it in February. So yeah, it seems across the board, a lot of people were not, I hit the desk. Sorry about that. It seems like a lot of people were not aware of what was going on with Ori. So now for me, when I looked at everything that's coming out in February, it's pretty much empty for me. So I'm going to just crank away at those projects because that'll be a lot of fun for me. All right, let's move into our first bit of news. Karak, you're going to kind of lead the charge here for this bit. We're going to talk about the Warcraft III Reforged debacle that's sort of taken over the web. As it stands now, it's at a record low on Metacritic of a 0.8. I've never seen that before. People are really mad. People are really upset with what Blizzard's done to this this remake, if you will. I saw some side-by-side cutscenes. It was pretty laughable, I'll be honest. And so you've been following this a lot closer than I, so I want you to lead us into the conversation with the information, and then we'll get into talking about it afterwards.
All right, so the stuff that I know of, and then I'm going to read some stuff from the news, is that, for example, like one cutscene in particular was redone and the rest weren't, that kind of thing. There was extra bugs. The new UI is terrible, but also it actually closes out your access to the older version of the game, and the new version of the game doesn't have a bunch of features the old version did. So it basically downgrades you by purchasing it, which is like causing all kinds of concern. And then they also banned a player who was in their forums helping people get refunds. So they banned him from with the explanation. I'm sure the explanation was not that, it was something else. But yeah, they did so. So this is from Forbes, and it says Warcraft 3 Reforged has a record low 0.8 score. Blizzard is not exactly a developer looking for any more bad news after the last couple of underwhelming years, and yet they have blundered into what could be their biggest controversy yet and rather horrendous release of Warcraft 3 Reforged. Fans were previously looking forward to a remastered, upgraded version of Warcraft 3 back when the idea was announced. WoW Classic went pretty well, and everyone thought Warcraft 3 with some improvements to bring it into the modern era sounded like slam dunk. Instead, it's more like Blizzard tried to throw a buzzer beater from their own foul line and hit a small child in the stands. The ways Warcraft,
that is great.
Yeah, the ways Warcraft 3 Reforged to disappointed players have been numerous and in some cases bizarre. They're missing cutscenes that were promised and used as a core part of the game's marketing. The game's buggy, crashes frequently, and somehow has actually made the UI worse than the original. Reforged has actually stripped away features from the original game somehow as well. And this list is probably only half of it. In short, it's a disaster. So looking at this list real quick, because they had the link, let me see if this list is... So some of the stuff they said promised better cutscenes and improved graphics. Those didn't happen. Crashes. Many users have been experiencing login and connectivity issues. I can ignore those. Now that both Reforged and the original game are on the same online infrastructure, those connectivity issues will impact the original as well. Some basic features of the original are no longer in the remaster. This includes automated tournaments, clans, profiles, competitive ladder, and much more. The new user agreement, this is a big one, it states in language that essentially all the copyrights and everything go to Blizzard. Now we've seen that before, so I'm not like, that doesn't actually, I mean, it's stupid. That doesn't actually surprise me too much to see them be like, if you make something custom in our game, it's ours. They also very clearly point out, don't put other IP stuff in our IP, like Dragon Ball, that kind of thing, right?
Weird.
Which that's a big deal now, especially with all these companies having these massive IPs. I think you're going to see that more and more. Like, a lot of people get mad, for instance, when somebody will make like a Star Wars thing, but they don't realize that a company will actually go after anybody, because if they don't go after anybody, what you have done is set a precedent for not going after everybody. So that means if I make a small thing that's like a fucking sound effect and I stole your stuff, if you technically knew about it and didn't come after me, then somebody else might do something and they're able to jump on the bandwagon and be like, well, they didn't care about Karak, so why do they care about blah blah blah? And it can offer little credence. So, but yeah, dude, all kinds of stuff. I mean, yeah, and you saw the back and forth, the side by side. Shit's insane.
It's not good looking, and I never paid. I didn't even know this thing existed until the controversy. I didn't
really?
know that they were. Yeah, I didn't know they were working on something like this. That's why I wanted you to speak on it more, because I wasn't really particularly informed on its existence in the first place.
Do you think maybe you got it lost in the WoW Classic? That's what sort of happened to me.
I was well aware of WoW Classic, and I was following that,
yeah.
and I was deciding if like I should hop in or not. But yeah, man, like that. It's weird that sometimes the most obvious projects somehow find a way to just be complete blunders, as the article suggested.
Yep.
Man, like the re-releases seem like the most low effort thing, and yet they seem to find new lows. And what the way I look at it is, okay, you clearly cut corners. You took shortcuts for this project. Okay. My question though is, was it worth it at this point? Would you have rather spent some extra money, done the right thing, got the product looking how it should be, properly updated and all that stuff, and avoid this whole controversy? Is the trade-off worth it to them? I wonder, like internally, like, especially after what happened at BlizzCon and everything that's been just hitting Blizzard over the head. They seem to sort of tuck their head away and just pretend, but I just gotta wonder internally if they ever panic about these things, because they're like, man, if we got through that last controversy, which I would argue was their worst, then what about this, right?
It also seems,
does it scare them?
It also seems really weird, because it's not like it would have cost them a bunch of money to fix some of the issues. I mean, they're a company that's sitting on billions, so it's like, you're gonna remake it. Why didn't you just make sure the basic minimum stuff was done? Like, it's not like you can say, I mean, at some point you have to have somebody looking over it who's like, we're not going to hit these goals, and then somebody over the top, saying, okay, well then we need to delay it. Even if you delay it forever, Matty, like Scalebound, where you're like, it's delayed, but then later you find out, it might be delayed forever, and then it continues to come and, up in conversation, then one day it's just gone. They could have done that, but instead they release it, and you're stuck. Like, that's what you have now.
Yeah, and when you're sitting on that much money, you got to wonder why they couldn't just cut their losses and say, either A, start over, or B, it's done, shut it down.
Right.
And I think that's where corporates at like Activision, Blizzard, what have you, you could see they kind of just say like, well, we want return on investment, even if that investment was shit. We want to see what we can get back. And they probably saw just the potential of people buying a name, a brand, not caring about the blowback. So real shame. Hopefully they get it ironed out. Do you see this as something that they patch and fix, or is this like baked in problems? Because like what I saw was a side-by-side cutscene. I think it was the introduction to the game, and I was like, oh Christ, like that's horrible.
Yeah, I don't think those will be. I mean, dude, because you do have to actually have people re-rendering shit. Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
UI could easily be fixed, some of the bugs, but I also don't see a bunch of features being fixed. If they're not in there by now, and there's no front end for them, most likely they're not in there, as in they're not even set up. I have a feeling we'll probably just see them patch away some of the more egregious bugs, and that'll be it. We just won't hear anything about it. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know, because Division or Destiny is their other one, but that one has been, it had a ton of money going into it, and they've really patched it up and fixed it. I don't think this has the same power to get money invested in it to repair it. It's just not big enough.
Yeah, man, Activision in general is just very strange. I know we're talking about Blizzard, but like Activision, Blizzard, what have you, connected. They're just strange.
Yeah, sorry, I should have said
re-releases.
Yeah.
Because I remember when Ultimate Alliance got re-released at first, and like the console ports were just garbage, and the PC port just had like weird button mapping. Like, I don't know what it
PC
is
port's
with them.
button mapping is still weird, by the way.
Still?
I just played it.
Gosh.
We had to use Xpadder to switch the buttons around because the buttons didn't map right. It's
such a shame because like Ultimate Alliance 1 at least, man, that's like one of the very
I like those games.
best superhero games of all time, man. I love the first one. I don't know why they just leave these games in the dust, man. Like, you have a chance to, because what happens is you start to compare, and no one's expecting like Resident Evil 2 remake, or we don't know the quality of the entire product, but like Final Fantasy 7 remake, no one's expecting like, at least at the get-go, like that level. You know, that's where the company sets out to impress, set a standard, and you know they have enough money, right? Like they have enough money to do something really cool and push things forward. I don't get why there's a choice not to, especially if it's a completely separate team working on it. That's where I start to scratch my head a little bit.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation that's going on. It's just I don't know how we get here, but we've got here multiple times. I mean, at some point you're just like, okay, well, I don't know. It doesn't really matter how, we're here. Like, what do we do? And right now, I don't know if we even really have an answer for that.
Yeah. I mean, no sense in stirring on it, I guess, at this point, right? It's getting lit up, and I imagine that Blizzard's well aware of their foul shot going into some small child.
I did like that. I had not read that story, so reading that story out loud was fun because that was pretty good writing, by the way. It caught me a little by surprise, which is
who wrote that? You said it was Forbes, but like who wrote that individually?
It was Paul. Oh wow, it's Paul Tassi, which I normally do not like his stuff. That's crazy at all. Wow. But that was That was actually very good.
That was great. All right, shall we move on to our next bit of news? You got more to say?
Nope.
All right, most excellent. Here we go. Let's get into the rest of the news, which is mostly positive. So we're going to start off with the Final Fantasy VII trailer that was just shown off. It reveals Red 13. It gives us looks at Professor Hojo, Scarlet Roche, which is a new character, and Reese. We also see flashes of a bike combat sequence, more Shinra HQ interiors, some like really, really big escalators or stair sets, what have you. A Leviathan summon and a Chocobo / Moogle summon. And I got an interesting question on the Patreon Discord. It wasn't like in a podcast question section, just someone was generally asking, as someone who's never played Final Fantasy VII, like, is it supposed to be as goofy as it looks? And I thought that was interesting because I won't touch on them even though the spoilers are obvious, but there are certain moments in the game that are really serious. Like, Final Fantasy VII is a pretty heavy game, and especially with its themes, it's really relatable nowadays, where I think it could be a pretty powerful experience. But what this trailer showed off was like the Honey Bee Inn, I think it's called, the sequence where Cloud has to cross-dress to get in and get closer to someone. It's been since about 2013 that I've played this game, so my memory's a little vague. But it was one of the most memorable scenes, and you have to go in with like Aerith and I think it was like, was it Yuffie or Tifa? I get their names mixed up constantly, but you have to go in with both of them, and it's just this kind of wacky, crazy part of the game. And it was interesting to see people who had never experienced Final Fantasy VII react to it versus people who are, very content with the idea of so much familiar remade content really returning to the game. And I wanted to get your perspective. What do you think about some of the new additions versus changes they're making, and also just familiar stuff in general?
That's actually a good point that person made, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I think it was Crazy Herb.
So Crazy Herb said something intelligent, which is crazy all by itself. But basically, just joking crazy. No, he did. So if you think about it, the original game came out, and when you look down at these characters, they're all pudgy and shit because it was the PS1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they're all pudgy and shit. And so the goofy stuff a lot of times was done because you can't make realistic looking characters. Now suddenly you've got realistic looking, ultra grimdark fucking emo characters that are then going into situations that are kept from the original game, and the original game's ideas and sometimes their designs are all based on the graphics they can deliver. That's actually a very good point, that it could throw people off and make people go, is this supposed to be as jokey as it is? Because the last trailer or the demo, they were fighting this fucking spider bad guy. So it was like, it looked all
like intense and epic.
Right. Yeah. It's all epic and intense and fucking grimdark. And then suddenly you're doing all that. Yeah, that's actually a real good point. That's it'll be interesting to see if people. I don't think it'll really bother people, but I hope that Square continues to show that stuff so people understand where it's coming from.
Well, yeah, I think it shows. I'm happy they're doing it still. I'm happy they're showing it in trailers because I think it's good they're being transparent in a way that fans know, like, big scenes are returning. I think it's fan service in a way. It's one of the very memorable parts of the early part of the game. And I don't think it should detract from anything. And I think it shows personality. Like, that's what was great about Final Fantasy VII is, despite its age, like I said, the first time I played it was like many years ago, like the early 2010s. And I mean, it's aged so well in a lot of ways, especially, I mean, in storytelling and like some of its pacing and its moments. And I think, like, people forget that there's like the Golden Saucer, which is this like wacky, crazy looking almost casino place where you can like race chocobos, and it's insane, man. Like, it's so crazy. And so I think that it's good that Square is being transparent because I think it makes the game more attractive in general, as far as I'm concerned. Even if you get a mix of like, oh, this is kind of funny, but this is also kind of serious. Like, what's it supposed to be? I like that in a game because if it's too much of just one thing, I feel like your brain gets numb to it.
Yeah,
if it's constantly like serious. That's why I like games like The Outer Worlds, right? Like, it's serious, but there's always that underlying goofiness. So I can always appreciate that in games, and I think Final Fantasy VII's up my alley for that reason. Did you actually get a look at the new trailer that dropped today?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What'd you think of the new track that they put in there? It was like a new. It was like the first half of it. It was like this kind of almost anthem. It was really.
Oh, you mean musical
really
track?
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, I apologize. I thought you meant car track. I didn't get to listen to it with sound because I was in the middle of the podcast because we were talking about it. So I have not got a chance to listen to it. But I did know that we talked about this too. We talked about, like, back in the day when it was bitmap music and it was like, you know, all MIDI and all that shit. What are they going to do now? So was it a good did it feel like
yes
remastered music or whatever the term would be?
Cool. Well, we've heard like little remastered bits of classic music as it's gone on. I've liked it a lot, but I've noticed, for example, I think back to Final Fantasy X and X-2 when they remastered those games, they also remastered the soundtracks. And there's one boss fight against it's the main, I forgot his name, but it's the main boss in Final Fantasy X, the first one. And they play this really sick track, and I love the remastered version. I remember looking it up and seeing like mass dislikes, and people were going like, "Man, this sucks compared to the original." I listened to the original, I was like, "I don't really like this." But with Final Fantasy, so I just want to make sure people know like my tastes. But with Final Fantasy VII Remake, what I've heard in the trailer has been really good. I feel it's been true to the original, familiar yet refreshing. And also there's a pacing to it that I think fits the more action-y combat a little better. Where the original is more like and it could just kind of keep looping because you're just all standing in place. Where this, when you're moving around, I think the more bombastic feel fits the moment. As for the new track, I thought it was excellent. You know, there's vocals, and I love vocals in tracks. I think it helps kind of heighten things, which is what I think music's all designed to do. You guys will notice that a lot during the show reviews. I always mention music like elevating moments because I feel like it can rest easily in the background in like the open world sections, if you will, and it can enhance that moment-to-moment exploration, or sometimes just shutting off the music entirely and letting actors do their thing can be just as powerful. You see that kind of in something like The Last of Us. So you'll notice I always talk about music elevating or heightening, just so people don't think I'm running out of words to say. But yeah, man, trailer's looking great. Game's looking fantastic. I really can't wait to play. And for those who don't know, it did get delayed to April, so you have to wait one extra month. But I don't know about you. I said this on Twitter. Some people are like, dude, cut it out. But I'm kind of like, and it's because it's close by too, I think. But I'm like more excited for this game than Cyberpunk as it stands.
I'm definitely not that.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm interested in it in a weird way, almost as more of a cultural thing, because I was not a fan of the original. So, like, the idea of playing it now might be much better to me than, like, I can't go back and play the original like a kid, I'd play it like I do now, and I hate it. So it's like the idea of it being fully remade with a ton of money is awesome. So that excites me. It excites me from a technical standpoint.
It just looks, like look wise.
Yeah, it looks,
I mean,
yep. And
oh my gosh.
it's going to be weird because some people played it and said the demo, and I got to play a little bit of the demo, but the turn-based version versus the real-time is supposedly there's some big difficulty issues there. Also, the music
makes sense.
You were talking about like how the music, has changed. It'll also be interesting to see, does the music feel better or worse depending on if you're turn-based or if you go with the real-time combat. Because that can make a huge difference. If it's like dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun all the time and you're sitting there in turn-based combat, your brain, after a while, my brain turns to mush. It's like, I get it, we're marching somewhere. But if you're in the middle of battle, I'm fine with that. Like, I am like...
Yeah, because you're moving.
Da-da-da-da. Yeah, so it'll be a fun... I'm really excited to review that game for that reason, actually, is to see how all that comes together.
It's almost like a science. I get
that.
Yeah,
yeah, it's going to be fun.
When I look at these remakes, we're sort of in that era now. Remember, like 2013, it used to be the era of remasters. But when it comes to remakes, like we're seeing Final Fantasy VII, we saw Resident Evil 2, we're seeing Resident Evil 3. And with all these remakes, we can continue our discussion a little bit from last week because we never touched on this point about KOTOR possibly getting a remake. Do you find, after seeing some more and more of said remakes and how, in the case of Capcom, they really did the original justice and then some, or in the case of Square Enix, where we don't know what the final product's going to be like, but we see that touch of nostalgia, familiar content and new stuff. Do you feel a little bit better about the idea of a KOTOR remake?
Yeah, but my issue has almost solidly all just been about BioWare itself.
Yeah, that makes sense, of course. Yeah. And I guess it's because, for example, in Final Fantasy VII Remake, I can't speak to the original Resident Evil 2 because I never played it. I've only played 2 Remake. But in the case of Final Fantasy VII Remake, we know they're making story changes, right? Like immediately.
Yeah, we know for a fact.
Trailer,
yeah,
we knew right away, and I think they've said that in interviews. I can't say that for sure because I don't recall specifically one, but I'm pretty sure I've seen it. And so, obviously, that makes a little more sense with that context. You look at KOTOR and how that's naturally going to get some changes, some quote reimagining, and I guess it's made me a little more accepting to possible changes, right? Like I'm very much still like leave the story. Like if you're going to remake the first one, just leave the story. It's great as is. But if they reimagine little things like how certain events are paced out, which seems to be the case for Final Fantasy VII Remake, I don't think I'd be terribly against that. Like if they shortened Terrace a little bit, I love Terrace, but if they shortened that and got you to your lightsaber a little quicker, what would you think about that? Like a change like that?
I think I would like Terrace at its current length, but better. I would instead of shortening it, it would be cooler if they just made it more interesting. Because it's the combination of not only being longer than or being a long startup, but like you said, not having the lightsaber, and then the addition of not being the greatest quests. Most games you get, the best quests are first. The big things are first. And in KOTOR, maybe that's why KOTOR was magic too. We may not know. We may be coming up with ideas that fucking absolutely would just be a travesty. But
that's true.
It could be. It could be that you got through that spot, and then it is. And there is something about the magnificence of Fallout 3 and KOTOR in the fact that you were in the absolute worst, most boring place first. And then you walk out. At least that's the way I felt in Fallout 3. I hated the starting of Fallout 3.
You didn't like Megaton or anything?
I did not. I didn't like the starting. No, I didn't mind Megaton. I didn't want to be in the bunker. I didn't want to talk to anybody. Fallout 4, you're in the bunker. Fallout 3, the birthday party, fucking done with it. Done.
I get it. I get that. Yeah. I know a lot of people love it, especially on this channel, but I got to say, eventually, after your like third, fourth playthrough, you just want to be skipping the vault. And that's why they have mods that are like skip vault 101.
And that's the mod for Skyrim. Skip Helgrave or whatever, Belgrade, whatever the fucking first place is.
Helgen.
Yeah, Helgen. So shut up, dogs. So to me, the idea of skipping it is okay. Making it shorter is also okay, but I would also like somebody to look at it and say, well, what we have is also good. Maybe we should just punch it up with some better writing and make it a little bit more interesting. Because I don't know if you remember, obviously you do. You're like me, you play it once a year minimum. But that for Tarsus in particular is just circles on top of circles. And I think the biggest problem is that it's not the quest, it's that it looked the same.
I get that.
Regardless of where you were.
I still get like North and South Terrace or whatever.
It's easy to get mixed up. Yeah.
Because it's just too that's stuff that I think would, they probably wouldn't be a loading screen in between. They'd have these two platforms connected, have them visually be different. That's stuff that I think a remake could really help with that game. I agree that they should focus on making it better. I really like Terrace because I feel like if they really changed it too much, I think shortening it wouldn't help. But there's that part in Terrace, especially for first timers.
Are you talking about the Hounds?
The Hounds.
The Underground, because isn't Terrace that is long. That is long.
Yeah, getting into the swoop races. Well, no, because we have a patron, the_tool, who's playing KOTOR for the first time ever, and he's like not even off Terrace, and he's like, this game's amazing. I'm loving it so far. And we're like, all right, good, because you're not even to the good stuff yet.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was thinking of it from like a first timer's perspective. I think it's really strong that first thing you see in that game is a vibroblade, a blaster pistol, heavy armor. You don't see lightsabers. I mean, you do early on. You see like one lightsaber battle on the
but you're right. You build up to that power.
Yeah, you build up to the power, and I think there's something like establishing the groundwork for this game.
Yeah,
because you're able to see swords and blades and heavy armor and more of the politics of the universe. I think Terrace is a lot more impactful because it takes you away from what is 5 other. Sorry, I'm hitting the desk a shit ton today. 5 other planets of like lightsaber wielding combat, and there is that progression of the lightsaber in general with the crystals. Do you want a double bladed lightsaber, which naturally you're going to go for?
Naturally.
Yeah, you can't not. Anyway, we've successfully taken Final Fantasy VII and made it into a KOTOR
Oh, yeah, we did, didn't we? I didn't even realize we had busted off of that. Yeah.
There we go. Any final words on Final Fantasy VII, the remake, the trailers, gameplay?
I just want it fucking out so we can just play the goddamn thing.
Yep.
Getting tired of waiting for shit.
You're more excited than that for Cyberpunk. Look at you. You just can't wait.
Just find out that, like, behind the scenes, I'm just, like, got a fucking pillow and shit with one of the characters on it. Not true, by the way.
Yeah, well, you say that, but it's a confession.
Yeah, but it might be.
Nothing wrong with body pillows, man. I don't have one, but I have friends who consider them, and I don't judge them for it. I'm like, you know what,
man,
I've heard it's good. I've heard it's good for like anxiety to have something to cuddle at night. So, man, if that's what gets you through a night's rest, you wake up feeling better. Hump the fuck out of that body pillow. Be my guest. Karak just closed his eyes as I think your eyes would have inverted if you could have let it happen.
Probably would have, yeah. Burned them out.
All right. We got more gaming news. Let's talk about Nintendo. They're not doing a Nintendo Pro in 2020 like speculation has led us to believe. And with the new gen consoles on the horizon, we got VR building, we have the analog pocket. There's a lot of new hardware on the way, so it seems like Nintendo will not be a part of the 2020 surge. They announced it has no plans to launch a new Nintendo Switch model during 2020. This quote came during Nintendo's 9 months financial results briefing for the fiscal year ending March 2020. They followed this up by saying, quote, "We believe it is important to continue to communicate that the appeal of both Switch systems and expand the installed base," end quote. What do you take away from this? Are you a little upset that there's no Switch Pro coming in 2020?
I did think. I mean, I would say I'm one of the people that I think the Switch Lite is legitimately the dumbest idea I've ever heard of, especially because
I'm not
some things don't work on it, and that to me is just breaking the way you should do a platform. So the idea of having a more powerful one that maybe played the older games, and was cooler, battery lasted longer, would have all been huge positives to me. So yeah, I'm disappointed. This is I don't know if I would have bought one, but I would have liked to have seen one offered. Yeah, because I definitely have an issue with the battery life in my Switch. It's just I even have that add-on.
They did release a new Switch that's the same exact one we have now, but it's
10% longer battery. Yeah, or something.
It's a couple hours. I think it lasts 6 hours on average.
Oh well, that's
so with our little pack charger that we have. That would last you 12 hours
that's not bad.
handheld, which is, that's miles better. See, I'm a little torn on this. I was talking with Rob from Rule of Two Review a little bit on Twitter, who's guested on the show before, about how Nintendo kind of put a bullet in the idea of a Switch Pro in 2020. And at first I was like, I think this is a silly choice, but also makes sense given all the hardware I listed that's going to be coming out this year, and maybe Nintendo sort of just giving it some breathing room. Why compete when you can, in like March of next year, say, here's the Switch Pro and get more people in once again. The other thing is I kind of like how Nintendo may not be doing another intermittent thing, kind of like the PlayStation Pro or the Xbox One S. I don't know. I get it's good for like the midlife cycle, because like when I first got my PS3, I got the last version of it. You know, it was nice to have that new, fully upgraded version of the PS3 that I knew had like all the kinks out of it when I decided to pick up the console.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just like the idea of Nintendo being like that one company that just says, let's move on to like the Switch successor, or a much more substantially powerful Switch that goes under maybe not a new name, because we saw what happened when they did that with the Wii versus the Wii U. But something that bolsters their power a lot more, that isn't just a like, oh, this is like a half step. Like, I want a full step, right? Like, that's what I'm looking for. And not that they couldn't have done that in 2020, but if they take the extra time and then in 2021 they're like, yep, 6-hour battery life no matter what you're playing, yep, every new gen game that's going to be coming out on the PS5 and Xbox Series X can be supported on this thing, yep, we still got portability, yeah, it's still relatively lightweight, it's not bulky, we fixed Joy-Con drift. Obviously, this is like a fantasy, right? Because that's addressing everything. I'm not saying that we're going to get Cyberpunk on this new Switch, although that would be awesome. We didn't think that The Witcher was possible. It was. It runs, looks, plays great. But I would love to see Nintendo take the full step, not the half step. I really would, because I feel like the Lite was a half step back, sorry. And I would love for them just to take a big leap, and you can kind of see that experimentation with the new Switch that they did with the improved battery life. Seems like they got something steady there, and maybe they're going to move forward with that tech. And that's just my 2 cents. I would like to see them take a full step forward.
Outer Worlds got the date right too.
Yes, March
release date. March. I'll definitely be getting Outer Worlds on the Switch.
Outer Worlds on Switch is no brainer.
It's a no brainer.
I think
Fallout 4 is the only other one I would want.
Really? See, I don't think Fallout 4 would feel great on the Switch.
I don't think it'll work great on the Switch either, but I think that Fallout 4 I would absolutely adore on the Switch. I don't know why. Well, and 3, both, by the way.
Yeah. I think it would be a hit regardless, but Outer Worlds fits really well because it's more of like a compartmentalized game, I like to refer to it as. You have planet-to-planet exploration, and I think another game that would fit stupid well on the Switch is Disco Elysium. I really want to see that game come to Switch. I literally haven't bought that game strictly because it's not on Switch.
And it's like, touch screen, so you could play the game so easy on the Switch if you wanted to with touch screen. Like, that shit would be awesome. Yeah, I would love it on the Switch.
That's what I'm saying, man. I just feel like with all that text, I treat games with lots of text almost like books.
Yeah.
In the sense that I like to lay down, hold it in my hands, read it like that. You know, like I always go back to Danganronpa, visual novel series. I don't like playing that on a computer or on a PS4 because you're just clicking through text a lot of the times. There are games, mini games that you interact with, exploration you do, but for the most part, it feels best on Vita because you're just usually tabbing through text and it's like reading a book. It's laying in bed. It's relaxing. So yeah, with Disco Elysium, that's why I'm holding out for the Switch. But I'm a little surprised by this move from Nintendo. They sort of got ahead of all the speculation. Do you think this is due in part because a lot of folks are expecting a direct within the next couple of weeks from Nintendo?
Oh, I don't know. You mean why they said this now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they did it because they were in a financial results meeting. They have to come out with this type of information. But do you think it was held now and specifically put out into the public now because they are planning to do some form of direct? We've heard rumors that they're going to take some Wii U ports, put them on the Switch. That seems to be all but confirmed from
gotcha. I didn't know
some pretty reliable sources. So I feel like maybe they want the focus to be on the software they're doing, not what they didn't do, and at least get that conversation out there ahead of time.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
There's a great source on Twitter for those who don't follow him. His name's Wabi Sabi. Last E3 literally leaked the whole fucking thing. Whole thing. Like every game, every announcement, he leaked. I'm not exaggerating. Literally everything. So I knew everything about E3 beforehand because he was just tweeting about it. And so he's gotten a lot of street cred. He's pretty trustworthy, and he was saying how, yeah, the Wii U, there's some Wii U ports. He won't say what, but to expect some to come to the Switch this year. And people naturally started like narrowing down what we've already seen, because we've seen Wii U ports. We saw Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, which that game's fucking hard. We saw the new Super Mario Bros. U or whatever it's called. That came over to the Switch. That sold like a shit ton. I swear, Nintendo's the only one who could make like millions of dollars off just a port.
Yeah.
And like insane money, like a full-on game launch with just a port. And so there's the list narrowing down. So a lot's happening with Nintendo. I'm hoping personally they do the Metroid Prime trilogy. That's sort of the one I've been holding out for. I'd love to see more of that. Just because Metroid Prime 4 is got to be coming or getting a re-reveal sometime soon.
Well, then I hope this direct or soon they announce Rabbids 2 as well.
Yeah, I think Rabbids 2 will probably, I feel like that'll be E3. I feel like that's a pretty substantial announcement. I'll take it whenever. I'll get just the same amount of hype no matter what, but that'll be a headliner for sure whenever that happens.
Yeah.
I fucking love that shit, man.
Yeah, so good.
What do you take from the quote saying, "We believe it's important to continue to communicate the appeal of both Switch systems and expand the installed base"? Do you think they feel like they haven't done enough with like the current Switch and the Lite, and they want to... Do you think they're trying to say like there's room to grow there? Because the Switch continues to sell a shit ton, right? Like we just saw stats come out. The Switch is selling a ton, so nothing's changed there. But did they feel like they haven't gotten the appeal of maybe the Lite across the table to a lot of people?
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. That is an odd thing to say.
Right? I feel like that's
an odd
almost
way to
like...
say it, I guess.
Yeah, I felt like when I saw that, I was like, did they kind of just say... I don't want to say unintentionally, but they're kind of admitting to the idea that maybe the Lite isn't... It's probably selling just fine. But I'm saying it's not... The appeal for it's not getting across. Like, they're clearly targeting a market that may not be understanding it.
Well, not only that, but you also have to sell it to your developers that, like, hey, this won't have detachable Joy-Cons, so we need you to do certain things so that your QA doesn't take that into, or takes it into account that you'll have two types of Switch. You'll have two types of Switch a person could be playing your game on, and that costs money. And so they do have to say why somebody should even prepare for that. I do.
There's text size.
Yeah, and I firmly do believe they did make a mistake. Like, regardless of how well that sells, I think a lot of it's nostalgia. People buying nostalgia and then holding on to it, or just like, hey, look at me, and collecting them. But they really did make a mistake, including that their entire commercial has the click sound. The actual Nintendo commercial does the click, and you can't even do that on the Lite. You can't even, like, it's onomatopoeia. It's all connected. So to me, that probably is true. They probably haven't done a great job of saying, like, why did we even make two? Because I bet you a lot of devs, just like they are supposedly right now with the Xbox, there's a lot of devs who, there's going to be the Lockhart, which is the lower power. It's more powerful than the Xbox X, but it's not as powerful as the X series, the main one. And people are like, well, why do they have two? You have to explain why you have to have, you have to explain why you should have two. And you have to make
why
sure
do you have
devs
a budget
know.
version to your own product, essentially? Yeah. Like, it makes sense, right? Because if you're like a PC player, right, you have your budget builds. Like, I spent $500, $800, that range, to build something that can handle on medium settings modern games. And that makes sense from a consumer standpoint, because you're like getting certain parts on sales. You're tracking the differences between like a new model that's just being upscaled because it's new versus one that is completely competent and future proof and is priced at the right area. I feel like that makes sense for the PC crowd, but I feel like when it comes to consoles and these, the Lite is clearly a budget version of the Switch. You can play the games the same, but the screen's smaller. It doesn't have the ability to dock. You have to charge it out in the open. It doesn't really have like a case that covers it. It just, you kind of lay like a little velvet thing over it. I think it struggles to sell itself because it's, I would look at it, at least, and I know I'm in a different boat than a lot of people, but I would look at it and say the functionality of the base Switch is more appealing inherently just by looking at the Lite. Yeah. I would not want to invest in the Lite because I'd look at the Switch and say, oh, $100 more, and I can dock it, and I can play it on my TV.
And that's the thing, is everybody I know, every single person I know who's got a Switch, who's a new purchaser, once I started talking to them, have all ended up buying the old version. because they wanted to have the ability, not because they were for sure, the ability to dock it. Yeah.
They made the old version better. They improved the battery after the fucking light. And we speculated that, like, did they do the light to sort of push people towards the real Switch and be like, you can buy the budget version, you don't have to put it on your TV, you don't have to play it that way. And if you really want to save some bucks, you can do it this way, which is good consumer choice, right? Nothing wrong with that. But then they upgrade this Switch, and like we said, like 6 hours of battery life on average, which is really good, by the way. Like that's more than my Vita, that's more than my 3DS, that's more than the PSP, I think. Not sure on that one, actually, I shouldn't say that. But definitely more than the Game Boy Advance. Like, it's a substantial battery life. And I when I look at that, I'm like, does the light last as long?
Yeah.
And probably not,
weird.
right?
It's
very really
weird.
strange. Because then you can get a better handheld experience, which is all the light has to deliver.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, man. All right, well, Nintendo's figuring their shit out. I'm happy that they're kind of holding back. I don't need to buy any more hardware than the ones I listed already. I already invested in VR. I would like to just get the analog pocket, new consoles. I don't need anything else. Please, Nintendo, spare my wallet and Karak's. All right, let's get into another bit of interesting news. This one has to do with PlatinumGames. PlatinumGames has tweeted out some interesting images, possibly teasing something coming soon. They shared a photo of Hideki Kamiya sitting next to one monitor with a time/day, which could suggest something on the horizon. PlatinumGames recently received a large investment from the inescapable Tencent and are currently working on Babylon's Fall, as well as another unannounced project. Brad Sams, currently executive editor at Petrie and Thoreau, said that he had heard Microsoft was to buy them last year, but it seems that deal fell apart. So we know that PlatinumGames received this investment from Tencent. We never really talked about it too much on the show, so we'll get into that a little bit. But we really want to talk more so about the last part. You had a really, really great quote when we were like discussing this off the air of how it's the hell you know versus the hell you don't know when it came to Microsoft versus Tencent. So if you'd like to lead off with that, because that was, I thought, spectacular.
Yeah, well, that is the saying. It's like it is the hell you know versus the hell you don't know, and the hell we know in this way is pretty much Microsoft. And even I say hell, even though for all intents and purposes, from what we're hearing, people love working with them. But they've had a bad history, just like Sony's had a bad history at one time, and so has Nintendo with their third parties and first parties and second parties. Mm-hmm. And so the idea of like, oh, we don't want them to be bought by anybody, but we want them to do well. And then you turn around and you have Tencent pop in, and you're like, uh-oh. Well, we really, it's almost like you don't want to date somebody, but then your friend comes and dates them, and you're like, wait, I want to date them now. And you're like, dude, too fucking late, man. You missed out on that shit. And that's the way Microsoft, it sounds like it fell through. Most likely Microsoft adjusted, who they wanted to go with and what they wanted to do. And Platinum and them don't have the best, they have an okay history, but they also have the history of a Scalebound. So we don't.
Scalebound, canceled.
Yeah. Admittedly,
almost killed Platinum.
Obsidian almost got killed by Microsoft prior to Tyranny too, and they bought Obsidian. Yeah, so there's sort of that question, but it's, to me at least, a really exciting. I like the idea of them having the money to do what they want, but nothing comes for free. Mm-hmm. So what I'm worried about is in the future. My opinion is what they probably did is they invested in Platinum with basically a high on return kind of thing. So for every dollar we give you, instead of 10 cents of profit per dollar you make, you give us 20 cents or something. There's something in that way in interest. But I don't know. I don't want 10 cents. Dude, I don't want 10 cents. Even the couple things I've dealt with, I just don't want them in the game. I don't want them anywhere near my stuff. But
yeah,
it's business, and they're going to be there. I think I've lost that battle.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do in one way, right? Like you said, we want to see them succeed. PlatinumGames has, they've just constantly got better and better and better. You don't see games like Mutants in Manhattan anymore. From them, because it seems like they've really got their shit together. Yeah, I kind of thought that Nintendo was going to be the ones who picked them up.
Well,
right?
with Bayonetta and all that stuff.
Bayonetta, Astral Chain could absolutely become a series that they just announced yesterday. I think it was that Astral Chain surpassed 1 million sales, which I think is really good for that type of game. It's a new IP. You're a cyber cop. I think it's kind of hard to sell people on it, and it looks great. I think once you give it a chance. because I made a whole video dedicated to it, talking about how Platinum Games, almost died and returned from the brink, and it was focused on how Astro Chain was this kind of crowning achievement at the end of that very long and arduous road. And I haven't seen any other video like this that I've made where the comments were like, I'm going to buy this. Like, I'm going to buy this. And I don't know if that actually turned into real purchases, but I was just very, very surprised how many people were saying it. So I don't think it's a hard sell in that way. I think it's just a hard sell in getting your foot in the door. And so that's why it's an interesting investment for Tencent, because I don't think that I look at Platinum Games and go like, yep, that's my moneymaker. Like, I look at Platinum Games if I'm a Nintendo, a Microsoft, a PlayStation, and go, that's someone who's got to be in my first party lineup, because that's like supreme talent, good minds. They have like third person action history. Like, I'm surprised also PlayStation didn't try to scoop them up. Maybe they did, because PlayStation just has this whole catalog, Horizon, Spider-Man, God of War, like big third person action adventure games.
Yeah, I'd like to see them branch out a bit.
Yeah. And I would think like Platinum could do something like that that's really good, but it's a totally different flavor, right? Like that's what's special about Platinum Games.
Do you know what I feel though? I feel that there might be a little bit of an overlap. By the way, I don't feel this. I'm saying I'm thinking that they might think this. I think Microsoft might have looked at their own Ninja Theory and looked at like Bleeding Edge and their sort of offshoot weird games, and looked then at Platinum and thought, we've already got our goofy games. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just, and maybe Sony did the same thing, because I could see them looking and going, you know what? Like, they might do okay, but they might also just flounder with us because they're going to sort of get lost between the other couple weird games we have, plus the huge blockbusters we have. I'm just thinking outside the box on why that might have passed up.
Right. I mean, it's strange because Babylon's Fall is being published by Square Enix. It's and I don't know, actually, I'm not 100% sure if the new investment led to a self-publishing deal where they can just handle it all on their own, kind of like Gearbox did with Borderlands. They completely self-publish everything now, which is cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Gearbox has Take-Two at their back. They also have a lot more money than Platinum. So those are things worth considering. But Platinum Games, I always kind of treat it as like an independent floater. And they said that this investment was received to ensure their independence. So
yeah.
I want to almost foolishly trust them and say, you know what? We've seen them get in bed with a lot of companies before. We saw them work with Nintendo, Square Enix when it come to Nier and Babylon's Fall. We saw them work with Microsoft, almost killed them. We've seen them float around with Activision, with so many companies who help them just get the job done. I think that's all they care about. And so I'm going to trust that based off that history, based off that experience, that with Tencent, it may be more of a hands-off thing. Remember how Activision sort of was with Sekiro? Where like I made a video dedicated to saying I just don't trust Activision with it. Some people agreed. Some people were like, I think the game will be fine. And the game ended up being excellent. Won tons of Game of the Year awards. People loved it. And so I feel it may be one of those situations where we have two companies with identities. We know that Tencent's very controlling and they don't bring out the best in a lot of the people they work with, but this may be one of those exceptions. I think it's foolish to fully buy into that, but I think it can be a realistic possibility here, just given the history of Platinum.
It might be. I personally, I don't... Personally, I don't believe when somebody says this will help us keep our independence, because what that really, it's not like you would instantly lose your independence going with somebody else. So it's like, it's hard to know what exactly they mean by that.
You think it means just not being owned?
I think that's really what it means yeah. And, but you are, in a way, because most likely what they have is a negative return investment kind of situation where if you don't do well, then your interest goes up or the company gets a continued stocks at a lower price rate. Mm-hmm. So, I just don't know. I mean, because again, no company's going to give you money for free. There is going to be something there to mitigate their risk. So
yeah, right. But it might be not to cut you off, but it may be just like what you said, just sales. Return on sales.
Yeah. That's my hope, is that it's just like and remember, they are. I mean, it's not a American company. It's two Asian companies. They may also just want to do it to help them, and that is, I know it's, we sort of can say that about some groups and not others, but I think that makes that makes sense too, where maybe they're like, hey, we want to help you get in and do better in America where you haven't set the world on fire. Even though 1 million sales is good, it's not what it could be. And it's certainly it's not what Bayonetta should have, or not Bayonetta, I'm sorry. The one we like.
Nier.
That should have sold like 55 billion copies.
Yeah,
you know,
it sold 4+ million copies last time.
4 million lower than it should have. Should have sold 8. That game is awesome.
I agree. That game was incredible. Not enough people have played it in the scheme of things, and I imagine they're going to do a sequel for that game. I think now that they kind of have some money, you're probably going to see a more ambitious sequel for Nier. I don't know if Astral Chain will get continued. They're kind of heading head first into a Rockstar issue because you have Bayonetta. I mean, Bayonetta 3 is still an announced game, by the way. So we have that. We have Babylon's Fall, which is another new IP. Astral Chain, another new IP. People want to see Nier continue on. Will it be with PlatinumGames? I would imagine so, because that seemed like a match made in heaven. They're doing so many new IP, and so far, we don't know about Babylon's Fall, but like all of them have been great. Nier isn't necessarily a new IP, it's a sequel, but it's a continuation of like a cult classic. So they got so many things that are working for them.
Right.
And then you worry about the multi-team thing with PlatinumGames because, you know what, I just mentioned TMNT, Mutants in Manhattan, and Avatar, or whatever it was called, Legend of Korra, sorry. Those games were horrible, and that was when Platinum like spread themselves super thin and worked with Activision, and it was not good. So hopefully they find their footing and continue to produce the high-quality products that we're used to from them. Karak, any final statements before we hop into our patron questions?
Negative.
All right, excellent. Let's do this one. So, as always, you guys can submit all your patron questions via the podcast question section on the Discord, and we appreciate so many of you getting involved. So let's just get started, man. We got a ton. All right, Johnny EC is our first one. Number 1, what other worst other form of entertainment you've consumed? Book, movie, show, and then 1B is what's the best form of entertainment you've consumed? Other form, sorry, as in not game.
So these aren't hobbies, these are forms of taking in entertainment.
Yep. I guess it could be hobbies.
Well, hobbies would be airsoft.
He said book, movie, show, etc. And it's like, what's the worst form of other entertainment and best for you? I think for me, best is anime. Worst is probably movies. There are very few movies I want to just sit down. And I know it sounds so bad, but just, I don't have ADD, I don't have ADHD, but I just can't sit and watch for like 2.5 hours.
Reverse those, and those are mine then.
Okay, fair enough.
I get it. I've got one anime I like. One. And I tried. Just like you, I've tried, but it just doesn't grab me.
Yeah, I mean, I watch movies. I enjoy them with my girlfriend. They're nice and relaxing, and there's cases like I love The Joker, but I'm not like I call it like a flick viewer. Like I don't go to the movies for like the newest, side flick. Like I don't watch movies like, Get Out or something like that.
Right.
I guess I go for franchises. Really, when I boil it down, I'm a complete casual. I like Star Wars, Marvel, DC. Yeah, you got me in my theater seat, but it's really, there are very few times I've gone beyond that.
Makes sense.
I love Lord of the Rings, love Hobbit, but like I said, man, like these are these are franchises. I'm not afraid to admit it. Number 2 from Johnny EC is, have you guys played with mods that are considered DLC sized, such as Fallout Miami, Fallout the Frontier, and what are your thoughts on them? Karak, I know you like mods. Have you had a chance to tinker?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I got into games, was an older one, the Reign of Ishtar mod for Baldur's Gate, and that was huge. Where they would do, because Baldur's Gate, it's sprites, a little easier to work with. You're not making full textures for people, and so things were a little easier to make. And then he's talking about just mods OOO and MMM for Oblivion and for Skyrim, and I think that was like Oblivion's, Obscuro, whatever. Like, I can't remember the terms. Grim knows them, because Grim and I both use both those mods. And then Mad Mardigan's
Elder Scrolls Bible.
Yeah, Mad Mardigan's monster mod is MMM. And both of those were the main mods I would run any game that those guys make, because I just knew that those guys knew what they were making and how their mods were awesome. I did a little bit of that Elsewhere that was for Skyrim, right? Yeah.
Elsewhere was an expansion for ESO.
Right, but there was a mod called Elsewhere.
Oh, there was?
Or Moon,
no,
Moon something. Moon for Skyrim. Moon but basically you can go to Elsewhere. You can go there. You can go to the cat place and it's
I remember seeing that early on.
Yeah, what the fuck was that called? Anyway, one or two guys made the entire fucking day. It was insane.
Wow.
Those are probably the biggest, like, and then I do spaceship entire galaxy mods in some of the spaceship games. But that's about it.
Mm-hmm. I think modding for me has become infinitely more interesting in like VR. I think of games like Blades and Sorcery where you can just add lightsabers in and just get like really interactive with the combat. I just think that type of stuff is so much fun because you can just kind of cross over universes, and that's what I'd love to do. Like a lot of people used to crank on me when I played Fallout 3 for like old Fallout news update videos. You'd see like me running around the wasteland in a Spider-Man outfit, or I'd be running around Skyrim in like a full-on Iron Man outfit, and people are like, "Whoa, it's so lore breaking." I'm like, I don't care. It's like I've played these games a million times.
Exactly.
I want to just run around as a superhero. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I really like those. When it comes to large DLC size mods, I've definitely messed around with a handful of them. I like to cover them, but I don't dive into every single one of them. Like I loved Enderal, which was a huge. That's a whole game.
Wait, that might be the one I was getting it mixed up with. That is made by one guy, right?
Yeah.
I played
don't know
that
if it's made by
one
one guy, but
that
that game is like a legit game. Like it's made in the creation engine, but it's not even like Skyrim. It's just a completely different game. It's actually pretty mind-boggling. It's really impressive what they did. Sadly, one I dropped, and I do want to get back to, but I mean, even the cutscenes, man, like it completely elevates the game. Really, really strong game. I think I have tested the Fallout Miami DLC when they put out the beta that was available for players just to run around the world space that they had created, and they actually scrapped it. So it was just kind of like an experiment. But still, it was fun. Obviously, mods like Sky Oblivion, I've covered Sky Oblivion pretty extensively, and I still continue to do so whenever I find that it's like time to hop in. That mod just continues to really impress me because Oblivion is such a big friggin' game, and they're trying to bring some more modern touches to it as well. That it's a huge undertaking, and I'm very excited for that team when they finally get to launch it. All right. Let's take a look at some questions of Natural Calamity. He gave us 8. Now, we have this interesting rule set that we had created that we would love you guys to follow, which is condensing your question list a little bit. We love your participation, and when you think of us, but we want to make sure that other people get in on the question. So we're going to pick and choose. Do not take offense if we skip anything. All right. First one from Natural Calamity. How would you feel with Call of Duty doing an episodic story, allowing them to make it longer and spread out the release to create hype?
I fucking would love it.
Really?
Dude, do something different with Call of Duty? Fuck yeah. Call of Duty could come out as a fucking goddamn 8-track and I'd be happier.
But the story's already so short, right?
Right.
Like
he's saying make the story longer by doing an episodic and stretching it out and having it like Band of Brothers or something, the TV show. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I'd die for that. I would love for them to do it. It's not feasible. I don't think he was saying, like, I don't think it's feasible. I would love to do it. I would absolutely love to see it.
See, I can't buy into that just because I don't think it's possible. Like, if they did like little 4-hour clips and released them every like 4 months, I don't know. I feel like it would just hurt them. I'd rather just a blockbuster story and just hope it's good. And, you'll get maybe a Black Ops 2 and be like, yeah, that was amazing. Or you'll get some other freaking
Ghosts.
Shit and ghosts and just, I don't really care. All right, next question. As games get older and gamers who play them as well, do you think the stigma, mostly from the TV industry, will change?
Well, young people get into them. I don't know what you mean.
I guess the idea is right now we have an older generation that's like, games kill people. And so...
Oh, when they die? Sure.
Essentially, when they pass on, you have a lot of adults currently who are playing games kind of moving into that space and who understand it better. And obviously that generation could usher them into games. So yeah, I do think that's a great question. I do think that's something that will change.
Let's think about something that's even more shocking and horrible. Those young people are far more open, almost completely 100% open to lack of privacy as well as microtransactions. Mm-hmm. They do state very clearly that there is an age... an age, like sort of a reflection of your age, depending on how much you expect from your money. And some people expect even more. And the big worry to me is that these new people who come in, Yeah, it'll be great. There'll be less of a worry, but there'll also be less of a worry about other things that matter because those people will be leaving. Those people that worked hard for their money and fucking, went out and logged, so they want their game that's 8 hours to be awesome and not have you have to buy a pair of fucking swimsuit pants for your character to have, as DLC cosmetics. So it'll be interesting to see.
I agree. What's the longest amount of time you played a game straight or many days in a row?
36 hours.
Okay.
34 hours. 34 hours. Bermuda, not Bermuda Triangle. It's there's a NES game where you're a speedboat, but you're like James Bond. You have like missiles. Devil's Triangle. Let me look it up. But anyway, we spent an entire weekend playing it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was back when I was like 16, and it was the first weekend we were able to stay outside of our own house. Like, not because at that age I wouldn't have been able to, but it was like a bunch of us. One of the guys' grandpas left a house open, and so we decided to stay there. And it was just like the get together, and we never fell asleep. We just stayed up the entire time.
That's awesome. I think one that comes to mind is Jade Empire. I played that game for 12 hours straight. The first day I booted it up. Yeah, I played it from end to end. Like, not beat the game, but I think I started at like 11 a.m. and I stopped at 11 p.m. and just like I didn't even check my phone. Like, I just kept going. I stopped for bathroom breaks. I stopped to feed myself. But yeah, just 11 hours.
Yeah, I should be clear. We stopped. We had microwave food.
Oh, yeah.
We stopped to and piss. We weren't like pissing into our own faces. Like, we're not a bunch of fucking animals.
Yeah. Did you find the name of the game?
No, I didn't, and it wasn't even a great game, but it was like one of the first ones we got to play. Yeah, I don't. It's Bermuda Triangle or Triangle.
A new thing will do.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You're just like, oh, new toy. I gotta make this work. I gotta use it. All right. Is there a game that everyone is into that you are just not interested in? And what game have you bought and not played? For me, I haven't finished The Outer Worlds and dropped Greedfall. It wasn't mixing well with me.
Fortnite.
Oh, man, I feel like that's on a lot of people's lists.
Yeah, everybody likes Fortnite, and I'm just couldn't. I mean, I loved Apex for what I played.
I think Fortnite's just an appealing option. No offense to anyone who plays it a lot, because I know it is fun. I did like it when I played it. I don't know if it still is. But I think Fortnite's just a very appealing career option. There's just a shit ton of money in Fortnite. And it's highly sustainable because they update the game a fuck ton.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can think of something niche. Something a little more narrowed than Fortnite. I like it because I put 80 hours into it, but I don't like it on the level so many people love it, and I don't dig it so deeply to the point of like 300, 400 thousands of hours, and that's Monster Hunter World. I love Monster Hunter World. I think it's fun, but there is this like huge obsession with the Monster Hunter franchise that I just don't get. There's nothing really like it, which is awesome, but like I can only get so obsessed with like farming equipment for like new swords from like enemies I'm beating for the 18th time.
I played to win that game. That was it. Played to get through it.
I beat it, and I played a little bit after some of its DLC, like the Witcher DLC. And that was really it. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not like it. I can't say it didn't have its hooks in me. I finished it. I liked it, but like, fuck, man. Some people are still playing. I have a friend who's got like 400 hours in it, and I'm like, how? How? Not because it's bad, but like, doesn't it get? I just wonder, doesn't it get a little tiresome? That's how I look at it. All right. That was the last question from Natural Calamity. Let's move on over to Aunt Jemima. What's a book/book series that you would like to see a video game based off of? For me, it's Mistborn or Red Rising. Both are fantastic, by the way. Good suggestions. This would be your specialty, because I've read like a number of books, but...
Just book. It has to be a book to be made into a game.
He does say book series that you would like to see a video game based off of. See, because like I've read a lot of the books I've read have been the reasons games were inspired. Like I'd be like, oh, Fountainhead, but I read Fountainhead because BioShock was like heavily inspired by it. So it's like I can't put out a great suggestion for this one. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Choose your own adventure books that are visual novels.
I would if there was like an LA noir in the future, I would say Altered Carbon, but it's now a TV show. But Altered Carbon from Netflix was originally written by Richard Morgan, and that's probably one of the coolest worlds that's a futuristic world that fits with right now. The other stuff I would want doesn't really fit with the current day fan. I don't think a current day fan would see the stuff and be as interested in it as maybe 10 years ago. But his stuff is really good. I would definitely like to see his stuff. David Gemmell, he's a fantasy writer. He passed away recently. Clive Cussler. Did you ever see the movie Sahara with Matthew McConaughey?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Never even heard of it.
Okay, great.
Nope.
So basically, if you imagine James Bond, but instead of on the land, mostly involving water, like Sunken Treasure, and or Indiana Jones and James Bond mixed together. And Clive Cussler's written like 60 books on this one character, Dirk Pitt, who's like the major character, and it's always action, and it's always like crazy espionage and hot chicks. And I honestly have always thought those would make amazing games because they're very Uncharted, very, very Uncharted. And that would be fun. That would definitely be enjoyable.
He's given us a series of Fuck, Marry, Kills as well, if you're interested. Have you heard of that game?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
What do you say? What? What is it?
Fuck, Marry, Kill. Have you heard of that?
No.
No? All right, so he lists 3 people, and you choose who you fuck, marry, and
No,
kill.
I'm not playing that fucking game. What are we, 3? What the fuck?
I know. That's what I wanted
I'm not playing any game where you mix fuck, marry, and kill together. Sorry. Not online, man. I'm not going to fucking lose my channel.
Nope. No, I agree.
Yeah,
I wanted to get your
not being a jackass towards him. If I was in there with him, that might be different, but I'm not randomly yakking that shit out.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
When you even said it, I didn't even know what the fuck you were talking about.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I just wanted to see if you knew. That's why I was like,
yeah.
All right, so he asked us about this. I thought you'd be like, oh, did he really?
I now do know what you actually are talking about. But at first, I couldn't figure out if I was mishearing what you were saying. I was so confused. I was just like, what is he talking about? Gotcha.
You literally thought I called you a name. You were like,
well, I couldn't tell if you were calling me or yeah, it was very confusing for a moment. We'll just say that. We're back. We're good.
R. Fryer asks us, is there a story concept within a game or gameplay mechanic concept that you feel hasn't been explored yet that you'd like to see? Do you think we'll ever see it?
Is there a what process?
A story concept within a game or a gameplay mechanic that you feel hasn't been explored yet that you'd like to see, and do you think we'll ever see it? I don't think games quite understand stealth and true darkness. Like, there are games that have these darkness meters, and you'll sit in a corner, and it'll be like, you're in the dark. You can't be seen, Metro. I'm looking at you. And I'm so tired of it. I want like legit stealth in games. I don't think stealth games are great. You have games like Dishonored, but even Dishonored, like it's. I would love to see an authentic stealth game where maybe actually this would kind of clash with my argument. I was gonna say an authentic stealth game where you could use something kind of like the Harry Potter cloak that makes you invisible, but that wouldn't be authentic. So some type of fantasy game set in a fantasy universe that has stealth elements, as I labor through this idea, that has a lot of realism to it as well, kind of grounded it. I think that could be nice. That'd be cool. But I don't know, man. I feel like stealth hasn't really got to where it needs to be.
Stealth hasn't, and I would say I don't want this, by the way, but I can say something that also hasn't worked, and that's sex and love in games. It's terrible.
Awful.
It's terrible.
Actually awful.
It's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst.
I've never
so
connected to a sexual moment in a video game. And the kissing is always so awkward.
It's terrible. It fucking legit makes me embarrassed because it makes me feel like the people doing it haven't done it in real life, and I know they have. What I mean is it reflects poorly. If somebody from the outside looks at a game, they'll be like, the fuck? And that's one of the few places left in gaming where I do believe if somebody from the outside looks, they'd be legit shocked and be like, what? And I played them all. Like, but I've never seen it done well. I've seen it hinted. I've seen it close. Admittedly, I've seen a couple times where I felt that Uncharted 4 did very good with Nathan and his wife. But it was a relationship that was already established, and there wasn't a sexual chemistry in the fact that they weren't like getting it on. It was more like she was an adventurer, and so was he. So it was sort of cheating in a way. But yeah, hard to do right.
Yeah, I just feel like animations come so far, and it's like I understand the creative process of going, do we really want to spend a shit ton of money to make this the most like authentic sex scene of all time?
Just
because at that
genitals
point, it just
slapping together.
Yeah, I'm just like, at that point, I just feel like they run themselves in a circle and you scrap it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Not that it doesn't have a place. I think romance is good in games, but like it just doesn't hit home. Like
right.
I feel like it should. Because you're not there, right? Like romance, you can like someone else's relationship, and that's what I like. Games with characters that have interesting relationships, but you're not there in the romance, and you don't personally know this person that's involved in the romance, right? It's not like a friend's dating someone. You're like, oh my God, like they're dating, yay, this is great. You don't get that feeling in games because it's characters you can connect to and understand, but you don't personally, at least I can't. I don't personally attach myself to them.
Yeah, I rarely do. Yeah, if ever.
Knucklehead asks us, what is your favorite video game theme music? Main theme, character theme, level theme, etc., or single piece of music in a game? And if you can't think of either of those, what is your favorite video game soundtrack? I know Maddie has been listening to the Nier Automata vinyl, so exclude that for the sake of the question. My favorite video game theme ever is GTA Vice City. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thank you. We hope you're having a wonderful day as well.
Mine would be Mass Effect #1 main menu, or not the main menu music, the map music. It's like do 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 do, and it fucking there's 10 hours of it on YouTube, and I no lie, I have a link to it, and I'll click it and just be like, I love it, love it. That would be mine.
No, that's a special soundtrack. They have, you just kind of that's like one of the themes you hear and go, yeah,
they nailed it.
It gets it. Man, one that main menu theme, Dragon Age Origins. I think that's a tone setter.
You said Origins.
Dragon Age Origins.
Gotcha.
The lady singing, and then it goes into like da na 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 na. That is always the reason I picked that. There are probably soundtracks I listen to more and I like more, but there's no other game that I started up and then sit at the main menu for like 3 minutes and just kind of listen. No other game. I can't think of one. It's so electric. I fucking love that one. Interesting pick on Vice City though.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember anything about Vice City soundtrack other than it being a lot of commercialized '80s stuff, which was great.
Yeah. We got Ben Jam with some questions. What is one job you wouldn't do even if it paid you $1 million a year?
Oh, anything involving the animal industry.
Even being like a vet?
No. Oh, for fuck's sakes. No, would I not be a vet for $1 million? I would never be a vet. I would not be a vet. I would not be a food, go and like a farmer. I don't need to see that shit. I don't.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like, anything. I think mine would be hunting. I remember my girlfriend was on Snapchat and she was going through, there's this section that just has like news.
Do you mean hunting with guns and bows and stuff? Hunting animals?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't. I get it's a part of the human life cycle. I don't do it as much, but I still do consume meat, so I know what I feed into. And I've tried to work on it personally, but I don't want to be a part of that slaughter, if you will. It's not like a game to me. Like when people like hold up animals and they're just like, look what I got. I don't know. I don't feel that excitement that others feel.
I hunted a lot and mine just went away. And I eat a ton of meat even now. I just pretend it comes from a tree.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are in the boat of like either A, they don't care, which I get, or because it's just something we're used to, or you just kind of pretend you're like, I don't like to think of where you came from. You taste really good.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, my girlfriend's vegan though, so she hasn't like forced me into it by any stretch. I've just kind
vegan,
of seen,
no cheese, no.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not trying vegan, but like I'm trying more vegetarian stuff to just kind of balance it out and contribute a little bit, because I do feel bad for like the way like some cows are killed, like
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it's fucking awful. So
It is.
What I was getting to is she was going through like her Snapchat story, and like there was this in this daily news thing, there was like at the end like just a boar stuck in like quicksand trying to escape, and it was like squealing really loud and was being attacked by another animal. I was like, why the fuck are you posting this? So yeah, couldn't pay me $1 million to film that. I'd probably jump in there, even though I'd probably die. And B, you couldn't get me to hunt them.
Yeah,
for any amount.
I used to hunt, and like I said, it just sort of died out. I don't have any issue with it. And I would watch a show, like a TV show, like if they were like, here's a cool hunt, but not really. I'm certainly not these days like celebratory of it, because I'm all, dude, seriously, I don't care how hard you celebrate it, you're still in a fucking helicopter, or whatever,
Yeah.
We used to hunt with recurve bows and go camping. That's a little different, but a lot of people are being helicoptered in.
All right, moving on. Rick Danger, the Dick Ranger. Why does no one talk about the Crash games on PS2?
That's his name. Crash name?
That is indeed his name.
Why don't we talk about old games on an old system? What does he mean?
I don't know. Didn't they get remade? Didn't we talk about them?
Yeah, they got... Yeah, I don't know. I think he means maybe why people don't... I don't know. Maybe people don't talk about them in more of a celebratory note, maybe?
I don't know. I reviewed the Crash games.
Yeah, you reviewed the Crash games.
I thought they were solid, but I don't know. A lot of people like him as a mascot, but that's about all I view him as. Like, I'd put in the camp... People talk about Crash a ton. That game sold, I think, over 10 million copies or something like that. Like, it sold insanely well. Not a lot of people talk about Jak and Daxter, Rick Danger. Not a lot of people talk about that series that has come and gone from Naughty Dog. So there's my counter question to you.
Yeah.
Crazy Herb, the genius, says, with Phil Spencer's tweet about the initiative making new and old things, what old IP do you think they could be working on? And do you think they are working on more than one game? The initiative. I'm trying to remember.
Dude, it was I'm sorry, but that tweet meant absolutely nothing to me. It was such a it was like we've got a new company working on new things and old things. That was pretty much it. It was like one of those things where people gravitated because we're at the new console mark. It's killing my soul. Mm-hmm. I'm so done talking about the new consoles. So like
they made I don't know why I don't recognize his name. Initiative has recently added talented producers, directors, and writers.
No, Initiative is the Gears guys. So
okay, they are. They are.
So the idea was, are they possibly going back to Microsoft stable, which they could be going back to Killzone, or not Killzone, I'm sorry, but the fighting game.
Killer Instinct?
Yeah, because Galaxy's now is not them, and Microsoft owns the IP. So it's like, could it be something like that? It might be, but I don't really.
Says the studio also added Sunset Overdrive director Drew Murray.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wonder if because they have the Sunset Overdrive IP, I believe. I don't know if Insomniac
found that out.
Took
found that out this morning.
Oh,
because Insomniac posted a picture that looks like a monster from Sunset Overdrive yesterday on their tweet and Twitter. People went nuts. Microsoft owns publishing rights to number 1. Insomniac owns IP rights.
Okay, so they couldn't make a second one.
They could make a second one. Yep. And
Insomniac could, or
Insomniac could, and Sony's president stated, we are not interested in old games. So my assumption is no port, and instead you'll see a sequel. And that was either yesterday or the day before when that news popped. I saw a little quote.
Okay.
So that's good news for people who like the game, because I know you do. That's good news for, a possible sequel, for sure.
Yeah, I like that because Sunset Overdrive was fantastic. Okay, so they couldn't be working on that. I don't know what they're working on then, but
yeah, and old stuff for Microsoft could be, it's Microsoft. They have these weird, they have IPs. I don't even. I just don't get into that kind of stuff on a single tweet anymore, because I've always been burned.
I used
so
to
many times. I know you did. I know you did.
And shit. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I can still talk about a tweet, but it doesn't send me on the loop that it just used to.
That loop of
it's experience
of like logic mixed with almost insomnia driven fucking like desire to weed shit out, and then you're on somebody's fucking LinkedIn page at 3 a.m. like you're on coke trying to figure out where they. Dude, not me. I'm done with that shit. I'll still, if somebody says that they got a LinkedIn and that's interesting, I love that. But once you get a step or two past that, my personal opinion is you're fucking stalking. Like at that point, you're a creepy bitch. Nah, I'm just joking. You're not creepy. But
honestly,
you know what I mean.
never thought of that. I could be low key like a stalker.
It is low key creep though when you're like, oh, where's this person now? But it is true. It's cool. Coalition's awesome. So I'm excited, but I'm not excited enough to guess what of the 100 IPs they have, what they might be worth.
Crazy Europe also asks us. I
mean that we have that like other than Blink's Time Cat.
Oh, I was just thinking of that the other day.
Blinks. Wasn't that Blink's, right?
Yeah, Blink's the Time Sweeper.
Time Sweeper. Like thank you, Time Sweeper. Yeah, so you know you've got something like that. They might bring a mascot back. That'd be fun.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, they also stated that the initiative was the first, I guess you would say, quadruple A studio. Was challenging themselves to do new things and old things in new ways.
It's the most embarrassing thing I've ever heard.
I don't.
Quadruple.
It's so hyperbolic.
And people don't realize what AAA even means in the first place. You can't have fucking quadruple A. Like it doesn't. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So stupid, man, and people fall for that shit.
I know. Crazy Herb also asks us, what do you guys think about special console editions? Does a console having a fancy paint job make you more interested?
Worst idea in the human fucking universe.
Thank you.
It needs to be destroyed and cratered like a fucking nuke. I hate them. I think they are rip-offs for gamers.
I literally think about this all the time because like people are like, yo, check out my sick controller. I'm like, you don't look at your controller when you play. You look at your TV. The controller's just cosmetic. And it might be cool to look at when it's sitting there, but it's not a display piece. I think consoles looking just like how my PS3, PS4, my Xbox, like how they look, like they're part of an entertainment center. Like I want them to just have a nice, slick, basic design. I don't need a Spider-Man symbol stamped on it or a Star Wars symbol stamped on it because eventually, like with Battlefront, if you bought the Battlefront PS4, like is your love for Battlefront so strong that you want to see Battlefront on your console every fucking day you turn that on? I don't think so. I couldn't imagine that, man. I will say though, because this was the only one available, my refurbished Game Boy Advance has Pikachu on it. It's a Pikachu Game Boy Advance. I used to have a plain one, but the difference is when you play the fucking game, I'm looking at half the hardware already. I can literally see the little Pikachu here. I can see all the different colored buttons and stuff. The controller is in the same site as the screen. So I justify that a little bit, but I do want to make sure for transparency's sake, people know where I'm at.
And I find it even worse because all my shit's in a cabinet. So I play, the only thing I do ever see is my controller. Ever. The cabinet is shut. It's got fans in it that pull the heat out. The Bluetooth works through the wall. I don't have to worry about anything. It's all locked up.
Gotcha.
And I hate that idea. Also, I don't know if a lot of people realize, but a lot of times those skins make shit get hotter. So if say they wrap some skin on there or put a plastic thing, not just the paint jobs, but I'm saying the more crazy stuff, you actually can end up getting a system that's hotter than a normal system as well. So I don't even want to mess with it from a technical level. I just don't want to have to deal with it.
Yeah. I thought about it for my Switch dock to get like a little, they were selling like a Charizard thing that you could stick on the side of it because that literally does just kind of sit there.
That's true. Like, you mean the black one? The original does just, yeah. And it's in the way a lot, I've noticed, because it's so light, my power cable moves it. The power cable to it, if I touch my power cable way to my right of the Switch dock moves because it's so light.
Gotcha.
That should be fixed, I think.
Yeah. Next question that we can both answer, it is directed towards me. It's from some guy. He says, hey, Matty, I know you're a Star Wars fan. I just finished playing KOTOR and Battlefront 2 from 2005. Do you have any other recommendations for other good Star Wars games? I know there are a ton of good and bad Star Wars games, so I thought I'd ask you. Well, Karak is also going to be very good at answering this question. First one that comes to mind for me is Star Wars Republic Commando.
Yeah, exactly.
6-hour first-person shooter campaign. You're with a squadron of other Republic Commandos. More mature Star Wars shooter. Really great story. Does end in a cliffhanger, but one that you'll always remember. You kind of know based off the movies where things head, but you wanted to see the story of this squad continue, so it's a little upsetting. But really cool set pieces, awesome environments to explore. You get a vibroblade on your wrist. You can like stab a Geonosian in the face. It's really, really cool. That's the best way to describe it. It's cool and it's mature. Well voice acted, by the way. Super good job on that. Can't recommend that enough. Karak, you got any other suggestions for some guy?
Yeah, the Rebel Strike games, the ones where you're in the on the GameCube, and you can probably emulate those. They're easily the best Starship replica of being in an X-wing ever, and that's all they are. And there's 2 of them, and in fact, they're so advanced that the emulator for years could not emulate those because the PCs were not powerful enough to emulate the special effects until later when we jumped up to like the 1080s, when suddenly they were like, okay, we can get this running. They are fucking legit games. Like, in fact, they were the kind of exclusive you see on a company's system where the system isn't doing as well as you think it should, and you're like, I wish that exclusive was on somebody else's system, if that makes sense. And those 2 were like, why are they exclusive? Like, everybody wants to fucking play these games. They're that good. They're legitimately worth playing even today. Both of those.
Another one I could suggest if you like an RTS is Empire at War.
Yeah, Empire at War is awesome.
Yeah, lots of mods for it too. One that I made a dedicated Patreon video to. I'm sure you could dig that up because you are a patron. So it'd be somewhere under the video section of my patron feed. Really like that game. Never seen anything like it. And it's really cheap on sale. You can get it for a couple of bucks, just like everything we've suggested here. Those are just some that come to mind. There's also movie battles. There's I think it's either a mod or a separate download. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't played it for myself, but I have a good friend who plays a fuck ton of it. And movie battles has literally every character, but you play in the Jedi Knight Jedi Academy engine. So you have some really epic lightsaber duels. By the way, that game alone, Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, really good. Really good. Old. Yeah, old, but really good. Yeah, true. The story, I shouldn't sell it as really good. The story, definitely not very good. You do make choices. You can go light or dark side. It's not like the level of KOTOR with choices, but there is choice there. You customize your loadout before every mission. So it's a strong game in those ways, but really great lightsaber combat. That has aged well, and movie battles just puts a spotlight on that. So think of literally any Star Wars character ever, and you can play as them in movie battles. So that's one route you could go. A lot of great old Star Wars content out there. Force Unleashed is still good, at least the first one. Really like that game a lot.
I like both the Force Unleashed, but I would also add, if you're okay with this, I would check out one of the Lego games, because I admittedly, understanding it's a joke, the Lego games when you look at the Lego games and you look at the IPs they cover, there's easily no higher success rate ever. Lego has somehow figured out a way to get all the IPs they do and pretty much ace every one of them. There's a couple that they haven't done, but a good chunk of them.
Avengers.
A good chunk of them are stupendously fun and have a really good heart to them and are still enjoyable for adults who play games. And so I would say you might want to check out the higher rated ones of those, find a movie you like, and find the game that goes with it.
Yeah, I would recommend the Complete Saga if you like all the
movies.
That's
one I like.
If not, Original Trilogy is the one that kind of puts you in the cantina, and you can get like mini kits throughout the levels, and you can start to build things in the cantina and outside the cantina that give you like secret unlock. Really good game.
And isn't
really,
the new
really
one? I think the new one is every game. Is it
all
not?
9.
All 9. All 9 redone. I think there's some stuff being. Can you believe that?
Pretty
How much
crazy.
is that going to be? If they try to sell that for $60 for all 9 games,
I think so. Yeah, that'd be insane value. Trust me,
dude. It would be unbelievable value. It would I can't wait.
Like one of the best deals you could get of the year already.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Without,
If that
without
happens,
even accounting for episode 8 and 9 in its Lego form.
Dude, not only that, but like if you're playing them and you're like, well, I don't like 1, 2, 4, and 6, it's still probably worth the $60 because you like 3, 5, 7, and 9. So yeah, it's I don't know. To me, that's amazing. We'll have to see.
Right on. So hopefully we gave you some good suggestions to roll with. All those games can be acquired for really cheap. Just know the Complete Saga thing, or not the Complete Saga, but the entire. It's called the Skywalker Saga.
Yeah, that's out later.
Skywalker Saga. Yeah, that does not come out till later on this year. We don't have a release date yet. All right. Mike Fury questions.
Oh,
what other
God.
games do you guys think oh my God! See, he doesn't proofread his questions.
I love you, Mike.
He doesn't. He wrote, "What other games do you guys think I'll be laid?" I think you have to say, things will. What other games do you guys think will be delayed? Is what he's trying to say. God, it's a fucking code I gotta decipher here.
Mike. All right. What other games do you think will be delayed? That's his question.
Skywalker Saga. I'll throw that in there right away. I don't think that comes out till the end of the year. Although they don't have a release date now. I think it was supposed to come out last year, but they didn't talk about it at all. They went on radio silence after its reveal, actually. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's
a good point. I remember watching videos on it. So I think that's kind of technically in a delay or farther back than they thought.
That's a good point.
What other games could get delayed?
We know Dying Light has got delayed already. Do we think that'll be delayed till next year?
I think there's a good chance, yeah. I think there's a really good chance because when it's an indefinite delay, that says to me something went wrong and we need indefinite time to figure that out. And it's a very ambitious game, and I think they want to make it kind of like have the same impact that The Witcher had on Arrival, right? Like people are like, this is it. This is like a huge game. This is crazy. And I really genuinely think still to this day that Dying Light 2 has all those chops. Like I think that game is going to be massively impressive.
Oh, and by the way, I don't think in any way, shape, or form, this is just me personally, there is a guarantee that Cyberpunk releases this year.
I don't think so either.
I think that we could very much get to the point to where they're looking at it and are like, listen, let's just do it at the time we wanted to do it this year, next year, you know. We'll see.
I'm going to say I would not be surprised if... I don't think it'll happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if The Last of Us got delayed for another month. The only issue is you don't want to back it up too much into Ghosts of Tsushima, which needs to release sooner rather than later. I think that game lost a lot of steam, but also it already had like a release date, and then it got delayed like a week or two later. So I think they're trying to avoid that again. The release date in May has been set for a while, but I wouldn't be surprised if they like said, hey, it's coming out in June. We're taking an extra month. Plus, for anyone who's superstitious, the first one came out in June. So maybe they think it's lucky month. I don't know. That wouldn't surprise me, though. Number 2, February's Ass is Grass. What games will y'all be playing this February besides Ori? Well, we already clarified that one, and we already talked about what we're playing. Are you playing anything in February, Karak?
I on Mondays I usually look at my Mondays or Sundays I look at my email and I figure out my plan for who I'm going to contact about copies. Right now I'm just working through Zombie, which is Monday or Tuesday for the review. And then I do remember looking at February and going, oh, there's like 3 or 4 games. Nothing's huge, obviously, but yeah, I certainly will. I just don't know what it'll be. Nothing massive.
Number 3, what skills acquired in a previous job or jobs do you guys use in your YouTube careers?
Mine, so use to do YouTube?
Yeah, or making reviews or anything entailing what we do now.
I've talked about this in the behind the scenes videos, but basically my major one is for sure scheduling, because we had to figure out how much you could get from one person in the shortest amount of time before their efficiency dropped. So you'd be like, is a 6-hour workday, like, is that when we get 99% efficiency, and then at 7 hours it drops to 80, fucking blah, blah, blah. And so I use that for myself all the time.
Gotcha.
So and I would say that's the only skill I bring. I mean, the review stuff, I had some cool ideas for categories, but that wasn't really they're not really unheard of. But when it comes to scheduling, to be able to play the games I play at the speed at which I play them, it's scheduling like a bitch, like consistently knowing exactly when and where and what that I will be doing at what time. Super useful.
Yeah, I feel like, well, for me, first of all, I had an opportunity to work at a shoe store right before I kind of committed to YouTube. And this was when nothing was like blowing up for me. I was in my senior year of high school. I was offered a summer job at this shoe store. They were going to pay me above what minimum wage was at the time, which sounded nice. But I remember just telling my mom, like, when push came to shove, I just told her straight up, I was like, I kind of don't want to do this. And, God bless her soul. I don't know how she thought it was a good idea. And I know she couldn't have predicted the future, but like, she was like, okay, you don't got to do it. And she let me continue what I was doing here. So I haven't worked many jobs outside of YouTube when I really think about it. I've done like odd jobs. I used to do landscaping a lot. I'd help my friend and his grandfather out, and we'd work around like multiple communities. And so if anything, I would say that kind of taught me, because we had to get up fucking early because it was in the summer. It was a summertime job. So we had to beat the heat big time, and because it would instantly crank up to like 95 by the time it was like 11. So we'd have to get up at like 6 a.m. And I guess it just taught me sometimes you just got to like get up and do what you got to do, despite like how shitty it may be. I mean, it was fun because I was with my friend and we were just, getting to work, and I kind of like that lifestyle sometimes. But I guess it also just provided perspective of like, I'm happy I do what I do now for a living. Yeah. And I never take it for granted, and that's no offense to anyone else's jobs, because people find certain jobs much more gratifying. I just look at certain jobs that surround me and I go, I'm just very happy where I am now. And I think that's the most experience I could drag from prior work fields into my own. Because like I said, I haven't worked in a lot of other places. It's always interesting hearing like where you worked previously, Karak, or listening to other YouTubers and streamers' stories where they're like, yeah, I used to work retail, now here I am. And I'm sure that's like the ultimate perspective. And I just don't want to ever lose sight of that, because this is a lot of what I only knew in a sense. Number 4, if you were in gaming death row, what would be the last game you had to play?
If you were on death row and you had one game to play?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would spend my time gaming.
But let's say, you've said goodbye to your family. This is it. You've got time to play a game.
I don't even have an answer for that. Like, I don't...
I'll play one match of Dragon Ball Super, the card game. I'll go out being a tactician.
Yeah, I don't really think along those lines. I mean, it's even hard to even because I would probably be reading a book or something weird. I'm trying to think of anything that would grab me if I was like going to die. Like,
I don't think I could insert myself into the experience.
Right. So it's just like, it doesn't really. I mean, it would, if it would probably be something like really beautiful. Is what I was thinking in my head, is like it would have to be something that was like amazing looks or colors or whatever, so that like your brain was really engaged, like a fucking Tetris on acid. But yeah, I can't think of anything really. Shut up, dog.
I'd play WordPad and I just write.
Yeah, no shit.
Write down my life and just leave it there. Leave what I've learned behind. Number 5, the last question of the day. If you could travel to any fictional city, where would you go? We've answered this type of question before. We've answered this.
We just talked about this in my podcast, by the way, where I had to like give everybody an alert and be all, from now on, like, there's gonna be disclaimers. Like, dude, you gotta keep up a little bit. Not that person didn't keep up. They might be a brand new patron, but at some point you're like, we've answered that.
We expect good grammar. We expect a high of 5 questions, and even that's pushing it. I'm gonna say 3 actually. We expect a high of 3 questions.
Yep.
And we expect you to keep up.
And we expect some gratuities at some point. Like, what's the world? All who asked that? Mike Fury asked us that.
Yes.
Mike Fury has asked us that.
He's running out.
That's not a different person. That's Mike Fury who asked that.
That's Mike Fury.
How dare you? How dare you, sir?
I say we don't even answer it.
Let's switch it to something else then.
There's nothing else. There's no questions.
No, I mean, we could leave. I was saying we could leave it hanging, or we could switch the question to a slightly different question along the same lines.
Fictional city. Okay. Well, we've done gaming world. We've definitely been asked that before. We could say what movie universe.
Oh yeah, for sure. What movie universe?
MCU, of course. That's all I know. That's all I live. I'm kidding. Star Wars. I'd go to Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I love Star Wars.
What if you were a shitbird on Star Wars though? Right? Like everybody's got Jedis and you're the guy with like no legs that's fucking rolling around in his electric wheelchair and you're like, this is the shittiest fucking idea I ever had. So you're saying if you were a hero,
that the fate would deal me a good hand.
Fate would deal you. Okay, I see what you're saying.
And I come out a strong Jedi.
I would absolutely go to Star Trek then, strangely enough. Yeah. Because so the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek to me is that one is, like the Jedi and the Sith, but everybody's sort of getting the shit beat out of them regardless. One of the things I do like about Star Trek that's a little different is that, like, if you're in the Federation, there's always chances to advance, do better. Like, they don't, there is, like, pay for everybody. They have the, so everybody can, like, try to be a better person. I like the unrealistic positive of that. I really do like that, where, let's be honest, in Star Wars, when you really read some of the history and shit, you're like, this fucking place sucks dick. Like, why would I want to live here? Like, people are dying. I mean, there's some horrible stuff.
I picture a peaceful life on Coruscant.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like
running your own fucking digital holographic card trading center. Maddie's holo cards.
I mean, hey, I'm not against that, and quite frankly, I think there are some bright spots in the Star Wars universe. But this is also, ladies and gentlemen, a clear display of my lack of cinema attendance.
For sure,
right? Wow. I'm not gonna pick. What, like Joker? I'm gonna pick Joker and just get mass murdered.
And get mass murdered right at the start and be like, this is pretty bad. This is bad choice on my part.
Yeah, right. Like I feel like you gotta pick a franchise. I'm not gonna hop into Lord of the Rings. I'm not gonna hop into the Hobbit.
No shit.
Yeah, I'm it's humans versus just orcs. It's
dude,
awful.
And it's like everybody but the fucking everybody, including some of the main guys, die. Like it'd be a shit place to live. Shit place to live.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking like I'm at Hobbiton, the dust is settled, we're okay. Sure, we'll hop in Lord of the Rings. But I'm not, see, that's the thing. So conflict drives all plots.
Yeah.
So every single one of these universes we're hopping into is a catastrophe in one way or another.
Yeah.
And so it's probably, that's why Star Wars is the smartest, because there's crops of peace. So, Mike Fury, we've given you more than an answer that you deserve. We hope you are satisfied.
Yeah, Mike. Come on, bro. Man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. That'll do it for episode 238.
Hashtag Mike, you let us down. No, I'm just joking.
Yes.
Don't do the hashtag. No, that's wrong.
No, we'll say hashtag limits. We need to learn limits in the Patron question section.
Limits.
It's important. Limits. Me and Karak need to limit our roasting. You guys need to limit your question number. You need to limit your grammar. And we'll be in just great standing from there moving forward.
Yeah.
We thank you guys so much for getting involved. We hope you enjoyed episode 238. And Karak, any closing thoughts, words?
No, sir.
All right. Then with that, we will leave you until next Sunday or Friday or Saturday or whatever day of the week you decide to listen to us when we return. Talk with you all soon. Peace out.
Peace out.